press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
See, dear students, the other day I was talking to you about the traveler's opinion about his visit to Japan, his experiences in Japan. One particular experience I had told you the other day. He makes a comment about the nature of the people in Japan. He says, anybody who goes to Japan within a quarter of an hour, that is within 15 minutes, one will come to a conclusion that the Japanese are well-mannered people, decent people. And in order to prove that point, he makes one comment particularly. See, Japan is an overcrowded nation. In that overcrowded nation, privacy is almost difficult. Privacy is almost difficult. See, one cannot live an isolated life in that nation. The reason is the overcrowded nation. But there is privacy because of courtesy. Privacy because of courtesy. Courtesy is a substitute privacy, he says. See, because of that courtesy, the good nature of those people, the well-mannered nature of those people, privacy is possible even in that overcrowded nation. To substantiate the point, that is, privacy substitute, courtesy, a substitute privacy. He says, telephone instruments are kept in the streets, shops, and even in the halls of hotels. See, anybody could use those telephones to talk to their friends, relatives, and even business establishments, and so on and so forth. But is it possible to enjoy privacy when they are in the public place? See, unfortunately, in that overcrowded nation, a telephone booth is not available. No proper space to keep that telephonic instrument in a booth. Those people just go on talking about their businesses, about their intimate conversation with their dear ones. All such things happen in the public place. See, you may wonder, such private talks, where privacy is needed, privacy is needed, don't you think the others will overhear the conversation? See, while they are holding the conversation, many people will be moving by. But they don't listen to the conversation of these people. No question of overhearing the conversation of these people using the telephone instrument. Why don't they overhear? It is not their nature. They are good-natured people. They have courteous nature. They have courtesy. Courtesy, a substitute privacy here, of course. Yes, they go on talking. Thus, through this example, the author proves that Japanese are well-mannered people, decent people. You can give a lot of examples for this. See, one comment is a negative comment. In that overcrowded nation, privacy is not possible. And positive comment, they are well-natured people, good behavior. See, people with good nature, people who are really courteous, they don't overhear the conversation of others. Yes, good thing. Second point he raises, Another point he talks about, he writes about, that is about a social practice in the Japanese society. What is the social practice in the Japanese society? See, the other day I had explained you some 4 or 5 sentences. It won't be a burden to you suppose you listen to me once again those sentences. It is nothing but refreshing your memory. I read those sentences. You will of course immediately notice their mania for bowing, he writes. Mania means madness. See, anywhere and everywhere you look at the people in Japan, they will be bowing one another. Bowing to one another. That bowing is a social practice. It's a way of greeting others in that nation. But that bowing nature, bowing practice, appears to our writer some kind of madness. Mad feeling they have developed for bowing. Everybody keeps bowing to everyone else with the ceremonious solemnity of a courtier. What is ceremonious solemnity of a courtier? In the court of a king, an attendant or a soldier goes before the king, bows before the king with deep respect. That is called ceremonious solemnity. That is called a kind of serious practice practiced by those courtiers. It may happen in a court, of course. It may happen in an office where an officer is sitting in his office. Yes, with all seriousness, these Japanese bow to one another with all seriousness. Ceremonious solemnity of a courtier with a great deal of natural and inimitable grace. See, Japanese do that bowing naturally. Without any effort, they do it. They do it perfectly. But the thing is, it is in inimitable grace. What is inimitable grace? Others cannot do that so perfectly. Only the native people can do it. Native people have become habituated to that practice. Right from the beginning they are doing it. It is in the blood of those people. It is the nature embedded in their heart. So they do it so naturally, it cannot be imitated by others, writes the visitor, that is George Meigs. Bowing is neither less nor more silly than shaking hands and kissing the cheek. Bowing is neither less nor more silly. It is not a silly act, a foolish act. Neither less silly nor more silly. It is a common practice. It is a common practice among the people, not a silly thing. Just like shaking hands in the Western countries, just like kissing the cheek in some countries, yes, they do it. These are the practices in some other countries. In those countries, they look natural. Suppose any Japanese who goes to those countries and sees the people kissing each other as a way of practice, suppose he sees the people shaking hands, that looks peculiar to this Japanese person. Similarly, a foreigner to this Japan, George Meigs considers this is neither less silly nor more silly, quite common, he says, of course. Next ನೋಡಿ. But it is quainter. See the foreigner's opinion to Japan. That bowing is quainter. Quainter means more strange. More strange, the visitor cannot understand it properly. Visitor cannot understand the real meaning of that bowing. A person bowing to another person, he bows with the deepest respect from the heart, bottom of the heart. But the visitor fails to understand that. It seems to him it is a stranger, it is more strange. It is quainter. more formal, more ceremonial, and more oriental. Oriental means Eastern practice. Oriental, accidental, opposite word. Accidental, OCCI, accidental, Western, Oriental, Eastern. Note down the meaning of these two words. Western, Eastern. So this is Oriental practice, more Oriental. It is also infectious. The other day I told you. It is infectious means it is catching, it spreads from person to person in the shortest possible time. Just like a disease that spreads from person to person. But here it is not a disease, it's a social practice. After a few hours, you start bowing to yourself. Yes, looking at the Japanese bowing to one another, though the practice looks to you something strange, something Eastern practice, you will begin to imitate that. You will begin to go to others just like the Japanese. But the question is it possible for a visitor to do that bowing exactly as the Japanese do? That problem the writer explains in the following sentences. Up to that point I explained it the other day. Yes, let us continue. But you go too deeply or not deeply enough. You bow to the wrong man at the wrong time. You do not clasp your hands in front of you, which is bad. Let us see up to that point. It is nudi, yes, but you bow too deeply or not deeply enough. See, due to lack of knowledge about bowing, you bow too deeply, yes, you bend your back more than that is necessary. Or you may bend less. It is also less than necessary. It must be properly done. That is how one must show his respect to the other. That is the Japanese way of greeting another person. But unfortunately, a visitor who fails to do it properly because he lacks experience, fails to understand the real way of bowing to others in Japan. Yes. See, bow deeply, too deeply or not deeply enough, you bow to the wrong man at wrong time. You don't know who should you bow, whom you should not bow. Suppose you want to go to an office to meet an officer there, the chairman of that company, and there is a man at the gate. Suppose you bow to the man before he bows to you, you are bowing to a wrong man. Wrong time. That is, it is the duty of the person at the gate to bow to you. Then you can show your respect. And when you go to meet the officer there you are supposed to bend before that officer because you want some kind of help from that person. You are going to meet on your own. It is nothing but bowing to wrong person at the wrong time. It's all because of lack of knowledge about the meaning of bowing. Yes. You do not clasp your hands in front of you, which is bad. In Japanese society, suppose you stretch your hand to shake hands with somebody, clasp the hand of another person, it is really a bad practice in Japan. Only bowing is acceptable. Bowing will be considered the right way of greeting. In that nation where bowing is, where some other kind of greeting is not respectable. And if you, a Westerner, just extend your hand to shake hands with the dignitary, it is a worse practice. It will not be appreciated by that person, the native Japanese. it will not be appreciated. Therefore, you must be careful. Yes. Which is, and you do which is worse. Suppose you shake hands with that person, it is worse. You will discover that the Japanese have a complicated hierarchy in bowing. Complicated means complex, very difficult to understand. Note down the meaning. Complicated hierarchy. Hierarchy means the social order, lowest to the highest. I will explain you, I give you some examples with regard to hierarchy. Consider the practice in your own houses. Whether you wish to your parents or parents wish to you first, you have to. It is your duty to show your deepest respect to the parents who are higher to you. Similarly, in a school or college, a student has to greet the teacher. The teacher has to greet the principal or headmaster. Headmaster to his higher officer. That is called hierarchy, lowest to the highest. Respect must be shown by the person in the lower status to the person in the higher status. That is hierarchy. That is the social status in our society. Yes, hierarchy, social order, you may note down the meaning, social order in bowing. Who bows to whom? How deeply and how long, for how long? These are all the things we must understand. In a society, who should bow to who? And how long one should bow? These things one must understand. That means a person in the lower status should bow to the person in the higher status. Person in the lower status should bow deeply, and that person in the higher status may bow less deeply. That is there, of course. See, let us see the next sentence. How long? One of the American states had an early traffic law which laid down means made it a rule, that if two cars met at an intersection, neither was to move before the other had gone. How can we explain this? See, I read the sentence again. One of the American states had an early traffic law. Yes, a traffic law was there in America which laid down if two cars met at an intersection, neither was to move before the other had gone. See, let us consider this is the intersection. This is intersection. A car comes from this side, another car comes from this side. Both should stop there before the other passes from this side to this side or this side to that side. It is nothing but signal lights that we find in a square. They brought into practice then. So, the two cars are supposed to meet at the intersection. They will stop their cars. They will allow the other cars to move from one side to another side. Then they will move their own cars. That practice is there. And similarly, what happens? He ridicules the practice here. Ridicules the practice. See the next sentence. Yes, before the other had gone. Similarly, in the same manner, how the two cars which meet at the intersection stop, only to allow the other car moves away. Yes, similarly, if two Japanese bow, yes, one Japanese come from this side, another from this side, they meet. Japanese meet, neither is to straighten up before the other stands erect in front of them. Neither is to straighten up. Yes, both must be in the bending position till another person straightens up. Another person just straightens up, bends it, straighten up his body. How is this? Always the people are moving in the streets. When these two persons are going, other person will certainly come, and these persons must be, come straight. A peculiar thing, he ridicules that. That means in that overcrowded nation, bending is so much. One will be bending to another, another will be bending to somebody else. See, when another person comes, these two persons will stand erect and they move away only to bend before some other person. That is how he compares the traffic law in states with a bowing practice in Japan. It's a funny comment. It is a comment about the overcrowded nation, comment about the peculiar bowing style, bowing practice of the Japanese. That means to say, he fails to understand the real meaning of that bowing. He is not able to understand, not able to catch the real value of that bowing. Next. Difference, nodi, yes. A little complicated to us. Little complicated. Complicated means difficult to understand. Difficult to do. For us, us means outsiders to Japan. A visitor to Japan. A visitor to Japan cannot understand the complicated way of bowing before one another, between two persons. They manage it without difficulty, but the local people, the Japanese, they manage bowing, they do bowing without difficulty, with ease they do it. With ease, without difficulty means with ease. E-A-S-E, ease. They do it. They do it with ease, yes, without difficulty. Yes. And even the smallest difference in rank, smallest difference, one is superior position, the other is in the lower position. Smallest difference in rank. Standing, rank means, note down the meaning, status, official status, official status. Standing means reputation in society. Age difference. See, junior should bow to the senior, younger should bow to the elder person. Social position will be subtly reflected. Subtly means cleverly, reflected means exhibited. Exhibited. In that split second, one man's bow is shorter than the others. In that split second, in that part of that second, one can understand one's bowing is lower than, less than the other person's. The person's bowing which is less, he is senior. Who bends more, he is junior. Only Japanese can understand this. A visitor cannot understand this subtle difference in bowing. Next, Nodi. Yes. In many cases, there are clear-cut differences. Yes. In the public, it is somewhat difficult to understand who is senior, who is junior, whose bowing is less, whose bowing is more. We may not notice this, but in certain areas, clear-cut system is there. Who should go to whom? It is a clear practice. What is that? Many cases, clear-cut differences in position, no difficulties. So, without any difficulty, these people do that one. Yes, how is it? The basic rules inside the family. I continue the sentence. The wife bows to her husband, underline the sentence. The child bows to his father, younger brothers to elder brothers, the sister bows to all brothers of whatever age. This is the practice of bowing within the family. It's a strictly followed practice. Wife bows to husband, yes. Sons, a child bows to father, yes. All children will bow to their father. Younger brother to elder brother. But sisters have to bow before their brothers of whatever age they may be. Suppose a sister is 10-year-old, the brother is 2-year-old, she has to bow before the 2-year-old brother. She has to consider that he is having upper status in the society. This is the practice in the family, within the family, this is actually established fact. Then other things. I saw baby is another interesting thing he explains. Carried in Japanese style on their mothers' backs in clever little saddles. And whenever mother bore the baby boat too, somewhat condescendingly from his majestic height. Wonderful sentence. Nodi. Another public practice with regard to bowing. Yes, what is the public practice? I saw babies carried. See how these Japanese women carry their babies. It is given in a picture in the page number 96. The child sits in the small saddle on the back of the mother. It is very comfortable there. The child feels that it is higher than its mother. It is sitting in that upper position. And whenever mother bows to anybody, the child also bows like this. How is it explained? See that one. Baby is carried in Japanese style on their mother's backs. Yes, picture is there in clever little saddles. Saddles means a seat or a bag that is behind. Seat or bag that is behind. And whenever mother board the baby boat too, somewhat condescendingly, somewhat graciously, having the attitude of superiority. Condescendingly means graciously, or feeling of superiority. Feeling of superiority. That the child is in a higher position than the person before. It also bends. It is explained in a humorous way, of course. That innocent child doesn't know the meaning of bowing. The innocent child simply just shakes his head as mother bows. Child has no thinking of bowing to another person at that age, 2 or 3 year old child. 1 year old child, it doesn't know anything about bowing. But this writer in a humorous way explains, child also bows condescendingly, with a feeling that he is superior to the other who is just in front of him. So mother's action makes the child shake its head, makes the child just move its head forward. That movement of head forward, it is nothing but bowing he considers. Of course, he explains it humorously. Next thing. Yes, from his majestic height, superior height, impressive height. Majestic height means impressive height. Another practice, he explains. Japanese stores employ bowing girls who stand at the top of escalators and whose only duty is to bow deeply and differentially to all and sundry, the Japanese equivalent of our page boys who turn revolving doors for us. Of course, he makes a comparison between the page boys in Western countries. Page boys means attendants, note down the meaning, attendants. Then what is the duty of an attendant in those Western countries? I will explain it. Yes. Japanese stores employ, that means appoint. Employ means appoint bowing girls. See, only for the purpose of bowing before the customers coming to that mall, that business establishment. Shopping malls, you have heard. You have got rich experience about buying things in the shopping malls. And there will be a person at the beginning, at the entrance itself, to salute you, to welcome you. And in Japan, bowing girls are appointed for that purpose. Bowing girls who stand at the top of the escalators. What is escalator? Escalator is a moving staircase. Moving staircase. Suppose you stand at the bottom, it will just bring you to the top. And there will be the bowing girl. The bowing girl will bow to you and she will welcome you to the business establishment. So the very work of that bowing girl is only bowing to the customers who come to the mall, shopping mall. Yes. Bow deeply, bowing girls stand at the top of the escalators. Escalators means moving staircase. And whose only duty is, what is the only duty here? To bow deeply and deferentially. Deferentially means respectfully. Note down the meaning. Deferentially means respectfully. Respectfully to all and sundry. All and sundry means to everyone. Note down the meaning. To everyone. To everyone. Yes. The Japanese equivalent of our page boys. Page boys are there in Western countries whose duty is only to revolve the door when the customers come. Revolving doors will be there. Revolving doors, a glass door, a glass partition, transparent partition. A customer comes and this boy, the page boy, will just turn it to allow the person to come inside. So, the duty of the bowing girls is to bow to the customers. Duty of the page boys is only to revolve the door to open for the customers. Next, that is another practice. On the famous and fast Tokaido line between Tokyo and Osaka, two conductors enter the carriage in a slightly theatrical scene. On the famous fast Tokaido line, Tokaido railway track. Tokaido line is between two important cities in Japan. The important cities are Tokyo and Osaka. So between Tokyo and Osaka there is a railway line and that is called Tokaido line. Fast moving trains are moving between the two cities, Tokyo and Osaka. The conductors enter the carriage. See, at the beginning point itself, conductors enter the compartments. What is their duty here? Enter the compartments. Yes. In a slightly theatrical scene, in a dramatic way, they just come inside. They march to the middle of the coach. Let us suppose this is the coach. The two persons enter the coach. They come to the middle of the coach. One will turn in this direction, the other will turn in this direction. Now both these two conductors bow to the passengers there. It is to show respect to the passengers. The commuters, yes, march to the middle of the coach, bow ceremoniously. Ceremoniously means in a dignified way. In a dignified way, in both directions, and then start checking tickets. Whether they have got the tickets or not, they check the tickets only after this. That is another practice. That is Tokaido line between Osaka and Tokyo. Yes, Tokyo and Osaka, the conductors enter, come to the middle of the compartment, turn in opposite directions, bow to the passengers before starting checking the tickets. Next note. In one of the parts of Nara, Nara is an important city, important park in that Japan. Nara, I met a deer. Yes, he went to that park, a public park of course. A deer came to him, came towards him. I met a deer, yes. I bought a pack of food for him. He came up to me, looked into my eyes and bowed deeply. It was no chance gesture. It was a proper and courteous bow. Perhaps deer are more imitative than I knew. Perhaps if they see people bowing all the time, they get into habit too. Perhaps it is something genetic and is in the blood of the Japanese deer. I do not know, but I do know that the deer bowed to me, then jumped at me and snatched the little food bag from my hand. He writes. See, peculiar experience he got in that park Nara. What is that? I met a deer. I bought a pack of food for him. Yes, before coming to the park, he had a food packet. It was in his hand, of course. Food packet for him. He came up to me. Yes, the deer came near this visitor to the park. Looked into my eyes and bowed deeply. Yes, looked at the eyes of this visitor and bowed deeply before this person. And he considers it is the behavior of the deer also. It has learnt it. But I will explain the meaning later. It was no chance gesture. No chance gesture. No chance gesture means it was intentionally done by that. Intentionally bowed before me. Not a chance gesture. Gesture means sign. It was a proper and courteous bow. Proper and courteous. Courteous means respectful. Note down the meaning. Courteous bow, respectful. Perhaps deer are more imitative than I knew. He comes to that conclusion. They are more imitative. That means they have learned how to do that bowing looking at the Japanese doing it. It is nothing but imitation of the local people, he says. Perhaps. If they see people bowing all the time, yes, they get into the habit too. Yes, they have learned it by looking at the Japanese. First he comes to that conclusion. Perhaps another meaning, it is something genetic. Something genetic. It is the hereditary fact in the genes of the deer. In the genes of the deer, that bowing has come to them. It's a natural instinct of those deer, he says. Inborn trait of the deer. They got it right from the birth, he says. And is in the blood of Japanese deer. Only Japanese deer can do that, not the deer in other parts of the world. Thus, according to him, one meaning is this: the deer has learned bowing by looking at the Japanese people doing it. The second thing is, perhaps it is an inborn trait of the deer. Inborn nature or inborn character of the deer. It is by birth the deer has learnt it, deer has got it. It is hereditary trait, he says. Let us consider whether it was a hereditary trait or whether it has learnt it by looking at the Japanese bowing. I do not know. Yes, he gives the two meanings and finally says, I don't know whether it is inborn trait or whether it is learnt by looking at the Japanese people. But I do know that the deer bowed to me. Yes, he knows. Then, what did the deer do? Jumped at me and snatched the little food bag from my hand. Jumped at the visitor. Snatched means take away forcefully, willingly, the food packet from his hand. Just think about the incident. Why did the deer come near the person? Actually, there was food packet in his hand, it knows well. Those people who were going to the park, they were carrying food packets, offering food packets to the deer. The intention of deer bending its head before him was to wait for a suitable opportunity to snatch the food packet before accepting it by the person. That is, food packet was important to the deer. Snatched it from its hand. That means it was neither the learned thing nor a hereditary trait for the deer with regard to bowing. Bowing was just because of the food packet in the hands of these people. It was waiting, it was making a keen observation, waiting for the right time to snatch the food packet. It did it like that. Thus, humorously, he talks about the bowing nature of the deer in Japan. In this too, the deer was a true Japanese, he writes. True Japanese, truly it has learned the practice of those people. You can often see people bowing to each other with ceremonious serenity at the bus stops. Another interesting thing he says. As soon as the bus arrives, the bowing gentlemen are transformed into savages. They push each other aside, tread on each other's toes, and shove their elbows into each other's stomachs. See the peculiarity here. You can often see the people bowing to each other with a ceremonious serenity. Ceremonious means polite, serenity means calmness. at bus stops. Yes, he paid a visit to bus stop to move to some other place. See, at the bus stop, he noticed a strange thing. He noticed the people bowing to one another with all dignity, with all seriousness, with all calmness. Yes, it is in the blood of those people, they have practiced it. As soon as the bus arrives, yes, bus came actually that day. As soon as the bus arrived, he noticed another thing with regard to the behavior of the Japanese. What was it? The bowing gentlemen are transformed into savages. Transformed means changed. Into savages means uncivilized people. Civilized people bowing to one another. As soon as the bus arrived, they got changed into uncivilized nature. Uncivilized people. What is the uncivilized people nature? What is the savage behavior of the people? As soon as the bus came, they push each other aside, tread on each other's toes. Yes, without bothering who is there, who is not there. Just pushed each other. Show their way. Show means push roughly. Elbows into each other's stomachs. They just pushed this side, that side, and just rushed into the bus. See, they forgot all their civility, forgot all their gentlemanly behavior, forgot all their courteous behavior of going to one another. Now the purpose is only to get into the bus. In such a situation, a person in the middle of such people, even without doing anything, may get into the bus. The others will simply push that fellow into the bus. It happens. That is the rude behavior, uncivilized behavior. He makes a comment about those people. It is quite common in such overcrowded bus stops. The people will just begin to see the point to get into the bus. Getting into the bus is more important than all other behaviors. Such a thing he notices. That is all about bowing. One more practice I will explain, and then I will write the important points. Eating soup or drinking soup. Eating soup has more dangers than almost anything else. Dangerous practice in Japan. I have already explained two things. See, in the first paragraph, overcrowded city, privacy, how it is difficult, I have explained. But courtesy works as substitute privacy. Second thing, bowing practice in different places, explained. But this is more difficult. When eating soup, you must make a fearful noise. I think you have seen some people while drinking coffee or tea, they make some noise. They just make that noise. Making noise while drinking tea or coffee, it is uncivilized behavior. We agree with. Civilized persons don't do it. It looks awkward. But in Japan, it is vice versa. One must make a fearful noise while eating soup. Suppose you make fearful noise, what is the reaction of the people who offer you tea or coffee? Soup. Suppose you do not make fearful noise, what will be the reaction? It is a sign of appreciation. Appreciation means admiration. If you make a fearful noise, it is admiration. You say that it is really tasty. Soup is really tasty. If you do not make fearful noise, the soup is not good. So, by making fearful noise, you can express your appreciation of the taste of that soup. If you don't, suppose you do not make noise, because you are a visitor, you are a foreigner, you don't know that you should make fearful noise while eating soup. If you do not do it, your hostess will think, the woman that offers you tea, the mistress of the house, the hostess will think, what an ill-mannered lout. Ill-mannered lout means uncultured person. What an uncultured person. If you do not make the noise. That is a reaction. But if you do, suppose you make fearful noise, she will think. What is her thinking? No reasonably well brought up European makes such disgusting noises when eating soup. No well brought up European will make such a disgusting noise. That means the visitor, the European, is not properly brought up. Then also our reaction is he must be an ill mannered lout. That means as a foreigner, you do not know that you must make fearful noise while eating soup. If you do not make it, she will think you are an ill mannered lout. Suppose you make the noise, she will again think you are an ill mannered lout because you cannot make exactly like the native people that fearful noise. You have no perfection with regard to that fearful noise. So, in both cases, you will be considered an ill mannered lout because you are not habituated to the practice of making that noise. Thus, he interestingly explains this also. It's a humorous remark, a funny remark about the eating soup in Japan. I write some important points with regard to bowing and also eating soup, and they will help you to understand the passage better. I write the points. Already I have given you a few points with regard to overcrowded Japan, where courtesy is a substitute privacy. Next is bowing. A social practice. Yes. 1. Bowing is a mania in Japan. Everyone bows to everyone. It's a complicated bowing is a complicated process. Which a visitor to Japan cannot understand it. Bowing is quainter, more formal and more oriental. It is infectious. In a short time, a visitor will also begin to do it. D. Complicated hierarchy. You have to explain it in detail. In bowing, only Japanese can understand who should go to whom. And how long. E. Basic rules inside the family. About Boeing. F. Baby in a saddle. On its mother back. On its mother's back. Also goes. G. Japanese girls. Boeing girls in Japanese stores. H. The conductors Boeing in a train. Explain it. I. A deer in Nara. J. Japanese. At bus stops. Courteous people. Turning into savages. See, a main question may be asked to you with regard to Boeing practice in Japan. Use these points and explain certain points properly. I read the points carefully. Listen to me. Boeing is a mania in Japan. Everyone bows to everyone. Boeing is a complicated process which a visitor to Japan cannot understand it. Boeing is a quainter, more formal, more oriental practice. Yes, it is infectious. In a short time, a visitor will also begin to do it. A complicated hierarchy in Boeing. Only Japanese can understand who should go to who and how long. Basic rules inside the family about Boeing, explain it in detail. Baby in a saddle on its mother's back also goes, explain it in detail. Boeing girls in Japanese stores, explain it. The conductors Boeing to in a train, explain it. A deer in Nara, explain it. Japanese at bus stops, courteous people turning into savages, explain it. Then one more practice, that is eating soup in Japan. I will write the points. Third one, eating soup in Japan. In Japan, while eating soup, one must make a fearful noise. As a mark of appreciation. As a foreigner, you don't do it. Because you don't know it. Suppose you do it, you can't do it exactly like the Japanese. Full stop. In both cases, the Japanese hostess will think that you are an ill-mannered lout. Yes, I read it. In Japan, while eating soup, one must make a fearful noise as a sign of appreciation. As a foreigner, you don't do it because you don't know it. Suppose you do it, you can't do it exactly like the Japanese. In both cases, the Japanese hostess will think that you are an ill-mannered lout. Ill-mannered lout. Yes. That is with regard to the writer's comments about the courtesy in Japan, bowing practice in Japan, and also eating soup in Japan. In my next class, I just take up the writer's views about Brazil. What does he write about Brazil? What are his experiences there? Let me explain the point in my next class. Thank you.